Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, happy 4th of July long weekend to you all. Hope you're making the most out of it. And welcome to Tech It Out, episode 152. Whether you're listening on your local radio station or perhaps in podcast form, I'm thrilled to have you along with us. We're going to geek out this hour, but don't worry if you're more tech shy than tech savvy. I got you. This show is just as much about demystifying tech as it is celebrating it. We'll kick things off with Republic Wireless in a moment on a way to extend your wireless phone service to your home. We'll explain why you might like that and what you need to get going. After that, we'll catch up with industry veteran Lon Safko about his work, including what's at the Smithsonian. How cool is that? And then we're going to break down terms like VR, AR, IoT, and more. And finally, we'll be joined by McAfee this hour to talk about something you're doing online that's putting you at greater risk than you may realize. All of this and more on this week's Tech It Out, powered by ASUS. I'll tell you more about them shortly, but let's kick things off. Now more than ever before, people are looking for ways to stay connected. Seniors especially could benefit from an easy way to keep in contact with their loved ones and without breaking the bank. Well, a new kit called Extend Home might be able to help. Joining us to explain what it is, who it's for, and how it works, we've got Joel Cades on the line. Joel is Senior Vice President of Commercial Strategy at Republic Wireless. Welcome to the show, Joel.
Thanks for having me, Mark.
Before we talk about Extend Home, what is Republic Wireless all about?
So Republic Wireless was born out of a company called Bandwidth, which is more of an enterprise communications platform provider. And the crew at Bandwidth back at the time were spending too much money on their family's cell phone plans. So they said, we're a telecom technology company. Can't we invent a way to save people money on their cell phone service? So what they did was create the first and still the best technology for putting your calls, texts, and the data usage over Wi-Fi. So this allowed members to offload their usage onto the Wi-Fi that they already pay for, and Republic passed savings onto them. Over time, we never stopped innovating ways to help them save. Another way was to make coverage better, extend that Wi-Fi, combine it with cell phone coverage, and do something called bonded calling, which improved the experience. And the newest and latest way that we're helping people save is by creating a home phone service that is just included in your cell phone packet. And that's what Extend Home is about.
All right, so with that in mind, Joel, tell us what this Extend Home offering is all about. What is it exactly?
So Extend Home is a service that extends your cell phone number to home phones. So in the United States currently, about 60% of people have cut their cord on their home phone, as we say, cord cutters. Our membership, about 75% of them have cut their cord. So Extend Home, in this time when a lot of people are stuck in their home, allows you to bring back the home phone and a lot of the benefits and conveniences, but it brings it into this modern world by extending that cell phone number to the handset.
All right, I can see a few conveniences with home phones over smartphones, things like being more comfortable to hold or having multiple phones throughout the home. I know like Costco sells bundles of 4, 5, 6 handsets, so you don't have to always have that smartphone with you. You can leave it charging somewhere. And when your mobile phone rings, all those cordless phones ring. So it's more convenient. Are those the kinds of things you're talking about?
So you've hit on a few, and our beta users on this Extend Home, right now it's really the first day that we're extending this to the public. We've had members on it that have been on beta tests and using it, and they give us all these benefits and pass it on in their reviews. So that is one, the handset form. There's another, you mentioned seniors in the introduction. For seniors, the sound quality of even a cheap, inexpensive home phone is better than the sound quality of an expensive cell phone. So for somebody that might be hearing impaired or just wants that better sound quality, that could be a lot of people. That handset would have that, as well as the speakerphone in that handset works better. And then some people just like, a cell phone is like holding a flat piece of toast.
And a home phone or cordless phone has larger buttons as well, and they're physical buttons. So that could be another.
Exactly. And you mentioned another thing about, I said that the cell phone number extends to those home phones. So when that phone rings, somebody that's in you don't have to be holding your cell phone all the time. And now a lot of us are at home, do you want to be attached to that screen all day long? There's that convenience of having, in my case, a phone in the home office and a phone in the pantry near the kitchen, which is oftentimes for a family connecting with the grandparents or family in a different city. It's better to use that speakerphone, and the kitchen tends to be a gathering place. Another unique thing about this is that the home phone will ring if you are charging, or even if you lost or broke your cell phone. You can still get your cell phone calls on that home phone, and you can make calls from the home phone, and the receiver will see it as you with that same cell phone number.
So while this show is called Tech It Out, I don't want to get too technical here, but does it use Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? Because I know there are some Bluetooth cordless phones out there that will wirelessly tether with your smartphone. So you walk in the door of your place, and then anyone who calls you on your mobile phone, all your cordless phones will ring. Or you said there was this adapter or hub that you plug in. So does it use Wi-Fi instead?
Yes, you need to be a Republic member, and then you need to have the adapter. But the adapter plugs into either your router or the Ethernet. So it is voice over IP. It is not through Bluetooth, so it would not have the limitations of the range of Bluetooth. As a matter of fact, those decked, as they call it, phones, the home phones, can extend pretty far. I mean, we take ours out into the yard, and you get that quality, further away, certainly further than Bluetooth would allow.
We're chatting with Joel Cades, SVP of Commercial Strategy at Republic Wireless, about a new offering called Extend Home. Can you explain, Joel, what you get with this kit out of the box?
So, like I mentioned, you have to be a Republic member. So the kit costs $49. It's on discount for $29 until the end of June, until June 30th. So with that kit, you get this very small adapter box, almost slightly bigger than a deck of cards, the cords that go along with that. And then also you get a SIM card for Republic Wireless service. You can bring your own phone, or you can go on our website and order one of our phones loaded with the SIM card. So there's different ways to do it, but first you need to be a Republic member. Then it's a very, very easy setup. All the instructions are in that kit. You just, essentially you plug in the kit to your Ethernet, you plug it into the wall, obviously, to power it up. You're really good to go. You go on the Republic app or your portal and just activate the service.
And since you buy the cordless phones separately, what brands or models does it work with? Does it need to be like VTech or whatever?
We have not tested every home phone going back in time, but we've had a range of VTechs that we've looked at. They've all worked. Panasonics tend to work. I think most home phones should work with this. We're not making compatibility claims, but I pulled a kit of VTechs that we had, in that bottom drawer where we throw all the old tech. They were probably 10 or 12 years old, and they work just fine with this.
And does it also work with landlines, like not cordless phones, but wired ones?
No, it can work with a regular landline phone too. There's one that we have tested that, we show on our website that is a Panasonic that does have a cord on it. It's more of like a desk phone.
And just to clarify, you don't even need landline service, right? If you've already cut the cord and you want to bring your mobile phone into your home and use like off-the-shelf cordless phones, that works too.
That is correct. You do need broadband.
And you were saying earlier, Joel, that it was ideal for people who are spending a lot more time at home as we are these days. But I would also argue it's ideal for those who are watching their wallet because of what's going on in the world. 40 million Americans out of work, for example, or thereabouts. So I can see the timing being ideal for something like this.
Exactly. 40% of people still have that home phone. It costs anywhere these days. They tell you it doesn't cost anything. It's bundled in with everything. But it costs on average, the studies I've seen, somewhere between $15, $25, $30.
And that can add up.
And that is always the inspiration. We're like, what innovations can we create that will help save people money? And then these other benefits layer on top of that. There's an important one that I haven't mentioned yet, which is for families. And a lot of the interest that we've seen is from families. Kids that do not have a cell phone yet, parents want them to have the access to that 911 call that goes to the local dispatch. If they're at home and they need to call 911, but they don't have a cell phone yet, this is an affordable solution for that.
All right. So for those listening who are interested in this Extend Home solution from Republic Wireless, it's simply republicwireless.com, correct?
That's right.
All right. Joel Cades, SVP of Commercial Strategy at Republic Wireless. Congrats on the launch of Extend Home. I hope it does well for you. It couldn't come at a better time. Be well.
Thanks a lot, Mark.
This show, Tech It Out, is powered by ASUS. For those in search of incredible, ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, including its line of award-winning laptops, desktops, monitors, smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, and much more. Visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back with more Tech It Out.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. You'd think you need a geek to English dictionary just to understand today's tech phrases and acronyms. Gigahertz this, terabyte that, megapixel this. You know what I mean. And so today we're going to explain many of those phrases so you can impress your friends and neighbors. I'm excited to introduce our next guest. He's a true veteran in the tech industry, Lon Safko. He's an inventor with 18 of his inventions part of the permanent collection at the Smithsonian, no less. Plus, he's an entrepreneur and a best-selling author and professional speaker. Welcome to the show, Lon. Pleasure to speak to you.
Hey, it's awesome to be here.
Before you help us demystify today's phrases like IoT and AI and VR, tell us about some of your career highlights. I know we don't have all day because it could fill up this entire interview, but please give our listeners a Lon 101, if you will.
Yeah, I'm kind of the Forrest Gump of technology. I've just been in a lot of really crazy places. Really lucky. I guess the biggest technology accomplishment is I created the first computer to save a human life, as coined by Steve Jobs. And I developed some of the world's first machine learning chatbots and VR operating system. And I was the first to do voice recognition, voice synthesizing. Kind of been on the technology edge my entire career.
Wow. Can you clarify what you mean about the first computer to save a life?
Yeah, it was kind of strange. Back in the 70s, I created the first chatbot that was machine learning. And then I thought, wow, what if I can get it to talk? And what if I can get it to listen? And I worked on some technology, some hardware, some boards, some software, and I got it so you can sit down and actually talk to the computer. It's not a big deal now. It's in everybody's back pocket with Siri. But in the 70s, early 80s, it kind of was a big deal. Then I attached home automation to it, which was all brand new. And someone said, hey, did you ever think about giving that to the physically disabled? Because a quadriplegic has to scream for help to get a light on or a door closed. So I did that and built a company around it that I ran for about a decade and a half and saved people's lives all over the world, actually.
How fantastic. You said the late, great Steve Jobs referred to your invention as the world's first computer to save a human life, but you actually knew Steve Jobs as well, correct?
Yeah, I did. I got a chance to work with him at Apple and Steve Wozniak before they left, and then again a little bit after they came back, and I worked with him at Next, and I worked with Wozniak over at Cloud9 when he left.
That is just super impressive. And how is it to have some of your inventions in the Smithsonian? Just to be clear, the National Museum of American History of the Smithsonian. What's that like?
Isn't that kind of crazy? I mean, it was just stuff in my garage, and I didn't realize I was the first person on Earth to ever create all of this stuff. And I got a call from the director of the Smithsonian, and of course I hung up on him because I thought it was somebody fooling around with me. And he called back. He said, no, they thought that I had made the largest contribution to the human-computer interface as anyone. Asked me if I had any stuff, and I said, yeah, I got 19 boxes of stuff in my garage. They sent a senior archivist all the way from Washington to Phoenix, and we spent 3 days going through it. Now they have 18 inventions and 30,000 professional papers.
Congratulations. Once again, we are chatting with Lon Safko. He is, of course, an inventor as well as an author. The name of the book, it's about social media. What's the title?
Yeah, the Social Media Bible was the biggest book ever written on social media. It did pretty well.
Great. And of course, you're a keynote speaker, but we have you today to talk with us about the jargon soup out there that can make your eyes roll back into your head. So phrases like AI and AR and VR and IoT. So let's break it down. Let's start with AI, or artificial intelligence. What are we talking about here exactly?
Yeah, a lot of people are afraid and it's funny you picked those 4 acronyms. I call them the 4 acronyms of the apocalypse for 2 reasons. One is that they're scaring the heck out of everybody, but the second reason is they're going to affect every single one of us. The way that social media has affected us over the last decade, everyone will be impacted. And everybody's terrified of this AI. Elon Musk is hiding under his bed at night because of AI. Stephen Hawking was even afraid of it. But really, it's just a bunch of code that they put into computers to try to help us by looking through the information to give us answers that we're looking for. We see it all the time. It's around us. Netflix, for example, says, if you like this movie, you're going to love this one. Not very good AI, by the way. And we also see it even on Amazon. If you bought this product, you're going to love this product.
Right.
But it's everywhere. It's in our cars. It's even in our doorbells.
And in our smart speakers. Another, I guess, application for AI is to have a human-like voice like Alexa, or as you said earlier in our chat today, Siri or Google Assistant, to dish out answers that you're looking for.
Absolutely. And one of the most common applications now, and one of the most important, is chatbots. And I wrote a book on artificial intelligent chatbots that hit #1 on Amazon, only because everybody is so curious about it, because those are everywhere, and we're going to see a lot more of them.
So a chatbot is when you are texting in most cases, but there could be a voice or video chatbot, but mostly it's text where you think you're interacting with a human and you're getting responses to your queries, but it is in fact artificial intelligence. So we might see that on a website, and then when that website or when that, Facebook Messenger chat cannot figure out what you want, then you may get pushed to a human person on the other end.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. And they're getting better and better. And back in the 60s, Dr. Alan Turing called it the Turing test, so that if you can actually interface with a computer and not know the difference between a computer and a human, then it passes the Turing test. And we're at that point right now because the chatbots are getting very, very good.
We'll continue chatting with Lon Safko about AI and some other technologies when we return on Tech It Out. You are listening to Tech It Out on the Radio America Network. I want to welcome back Western Digital, WD, as a partner on this program. It is incredibly important, more so now than ever before, I'd argue, to back up your important information on a regular basis. Be proactive about it, not just using the cloud, but for local storage like an external hard drive that can store 5 or 10 terabytes of storage. That's a lot of capacity. You want to make sure if you're working from home, you don't want to risk losing your data in case something happens. Head over to WD.com to learn about Western Digital external hard drives. We'll be right back.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. We're chatting with Lon Safko. He is, of course, a veteran technologist who has countless inventions, some of them, in fact, at the Smithsonian, no less. We are wading through the jargon soup. We are looking at acronyms and buzzwords and phrases like AI and VR and AR and IoT and all that. Just before the break, we were talking about artificial intelligence, or AI. And Lon, if you could explain again in the 60s about the Turing test.
Correct. Dr. Alan Turing, if you can actually actually interface with a computer and not know the difference between a computer and a human, then it passes the Turing test. And we're at that point right now because the chatbots are getting very, very good. They're also reducing 20% of customer service calls in companies all over the world.
I know some people are concerned about AI replacing human jobs. And I remember the head of the IBM Watson department once told me that for every job that automation replaces, whether it's AI or autonomous vehicles or what have you, it creates this technology, this industry creates on average 4 to 5 new jobs per one job it replaces. So they're just different jobs, right? Coding and, engineering and the servicing of these technologies.
Absolutely. That's absolutely correct. They just become more technical positions, but there's much, much more of them. Hey, back in the 1980s, we became a paperless society. Remember how well that went?
Tongue is firmly planted in cheek with that comment. I gotcha. All right. Now let's talk about two complementary technologies, AR or augmented reality and VR, virtual reality. What are these technologies and what are the differences between them?
Yeah, and they both been around for more than a decade. Second Life was one of the first and largest virtual realities, and that just means that the entire environment that you interact with, which can be 2D or three-dimensional, most of them are now moving to three-dimensional, kind of like first-person shooter games, is created 100% by the computer. It's all virtual, where AR actually augments our reality by using our smartphone as a camera and overlays information that we wouldn't normally see in the real world, such as product descriptions over product labels or Yelp reviews over restaurants on a street.
All right, so you hold up your smartphone, or in some cases, it's a wearable device like a pair of eyeglasses that superimposes digital information on top of the real world around you. So with your example, you're walking down the street or maybe in the car of the future, you're looking through your windshield and you're going to see, for example, a giant arrow pointing at a store, and that arrow isn't there in real life. It's a digital arrow that says 50% off on clothing for the next hour or something like that.
Absolutely. And isn't that cool to think that all of the information that's available on the internet can actually be overlaid real time on what you're looking at the moment? Think of the advantages. I mean, Yelp reviews and sales and directions and where to. Lowe's has done a great job with their app where you hold it up in the store and it shows little arrows on the floor that lead you directly to that product, which is the biggest problem in a big box store.
Yeah. IKEA, they also have an app where you can superimpose furniture in your home to make it look like it's really there. Like, what would that style table look like in your kitchen? Even though it's not there in real life, it'll look like it when you hold up your phone. So that's another pretty cool application for AR. And then VR, again, just to confirm, this is where you are fully immersed in a 360-degree digital or virtual world. Often you're putting on a headset called an HMD or head-mounted display, and it's tied to head tracking as well. So if you look left and right and up and down in real life while wearing these things, inside of that digital environment, it will look like you're looking left, right, and up and down. So it really tricks the brain into believing what it's seeing.
And, with the COVID thing, I think that's going to be even more popular because people still need to interface with other people. People need to have conferences and training sessions. And what better way to do it than in a virtual world? And if you want to try it, Google Cardboard is like $15. Buy a pair of those. I mean, they're so much fun, and that'll give you a really good introduction.
Once again, we're chatting with Lon Safko. He is a seasoned inventor. He's a technologist. He's a veteran in this space. All right, so let's end off on IoT, or Internet of Things. Please break this down for us.
Internet of Things is really cool. It's where, when we're asleep at night, all of our appliances are plotting against us. Okay, no, that's Skynet. Never mind. No, it's when all of the different electronic devices can actually communicate with us and with each other using the Internet. There's so many examples of it. I mean, who would have thought that a doorbell was going to talk to us through our smartphone? But anytime somebody walks past it, the camera turns on. It allows you to see who it is and have a two-way communication with that person at your door from anywhere in the world. How amazing is that? There's refrigerators that'll actually keep track of what you put in and what you take out. And if you don't put it back in, it knows that you need to reorder that. So when you're at the grocery store, you ask your refrigerator what you need and it will tell you.
What a world we live in. It sounds like science fiction, but these are all accessible right now. Lon, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. Congratulations on your laundry list of successes. If anybody wants to learn more about you, it's your website is your name, correct?
Yeah, just lonsafko.com, or if you're feeling lazy that day, just go to safko.com.
Okay, safko.com, SAFKO.com. Keep up the great work. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. All the best, and stay healthy out there.
This was awesome. Thank you, sir.
When we return on Tech It Out in a few minutes from now, we're going to talk with McAfee about how to protect your devices, your data, your personal information. There's a lot of cyber criminals out there, as you know, even more so now because of everybody working from home. You probably don't have the same level of security as you did at the office, so you want to protect yourself. But we're actually going to talk more about what the kids are doing, what the tweens and teens are doing, what they're searching for and accessing and downloading and streaming online, and what is getting the attention of the cyber criminals and putting yourself at risk. So we're going to talk about that soon. This show, Tech It Out, is powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, including its line of award-winning laptops and desktops, monitors, smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, and much more. They even have a line of gaming gear called ROG, or Republic of Gamers, if you're into that, as I am. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. I trust you're all having a great 4th of July long weekend. If you have any feedback for me on what you'd like or you don't like with Tech It Out, or you have suggestions for upcoming guests or topics you'd prefer me to tackle, you can reach out to me privately or publicly. Privately, my email address is simply tech@marksaltzman.com. That's Mark with a C, Saltzman with a Z. If you're on social media, you could drop me a note on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. On Twitter, for example, I'm at Mark_Saltzman, Mark with a C, SALTZMAN. And I do write a tech tip of the day if you like that kind of thing, a little piece of advice, a little hack, something that you might not have known that your iPhone can do or your computer can do or what have you. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Those are the 3 platforms that I share the tech tip of the day. We will be back with more Tech It Out on this long weekend edition. Stay with us on the Radio American Network.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. As I mentioned, I'm thrilled to announce that Western Digital, WD, is back as a partner on the back half of the 2020 Tech It Out show. So really excited that they are returning as a sponsor. I always trust my data with WD drives. In fact, I've been playing around with the WD Black P10 drive. So this is a small, sleek, durable, and fast external hard drive that can store up to 5 terabytes of data, even though it's only the size of a deck of cards or so. And that is a lot of capacity. But again, it's fast. So if you're into gaming, you can plug this into a console. You can plug it into your PC. It can store with 5 terabytes. That's up to 125 games, believe it or not, because those games are huge. You may run out of internal storage for all those games. Plus, you plug it in your Xbox as well. Take it to go. It's only $89 for the 2 terabyte version, and it goes up to $149 for the 5 terabyte version. Again, it's called the WD Black P10 hard drive. It's an external hard drive that is super rugged and small enough to throw into a backpack or jacket pocket or something like that. Great stuff. WD.com for the WD Black P10 game drive. All right, speaking of computers, let's continue on with the show. Now that many of us are working from home, cybersecurity is even more important, as you may not have the same level of protection as at the office. And tweens and teens are also spending more time at home, streaming TV shows and movies and such, now that school is over. And so you also need protection while online. Now, joining us to chat about staying cyber safe is Baker Nanduru. He is the VP of Consumer Product at McAfee. Welcome to the show, Baker.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Before we talk about your research, I understand you had a study, these survey results that you want to share. Before we get to that, please tell us a bit about McAfee.
Sure. At McAfee, we're all about redefining security, Mark. So when we say security, it's about protecting people, where they work and where they live, and make them feel carefree in an online world. So we're focusing on protecting the people, not just the devices. So wherever they go with security, the security adapts to their needs. And we understand the needs, and we'll continue our quest to provide the intuitive security to protect the safety of our families, our communities, and our nations.
So there are many cybersecurity solutions out there for consumers and businesses. Why should someone consider McAfee?
Yeah, I'll give you a few reasons. The first one is the threat intelligence. I mean, we are one of the companies that's focused both for enterprises and consumers and all in cybersecurity space. So the scale and scope of the expertise we have in security is bar none. Like we have several hundreds of millions of consumer devices that we track, and also we have many Fortune 500 customers. And we have, a large dedicated teams of security experts who look at these things every day, and we have huge domain expertise. So it's important for us to constantly stay on top of the threats that are out there and build the intelligence that can be used for the benefit of our customers, which is enterprises and also our consumers. I think that's the first one. And the second one is, from a consumer standpoint, for us, the focus is on people, not just the devices. So that is a huge differentiator. And the third one is there are many smaller companies who would say they have a very specific feature that is part of the overall protection tactics that consumers might use, but we provide comprehensive protection. So it's important that consumers have the best comprehensive protection, no matter what device they're using, no matter where they are, which browser they're using. It's important for it to be comprehensive, and probably even more important is, how is it easy to use and how is it convenient for them, because they can't catch up on all the new tech that comes their way. It just shows up in a way that protects them whenever they're online.
Okay, thank you for that, Baker. Tell us about your recent research. I understand that McAfee found cyber criminals often monitor our behavior to inform their next successful scam, and that includes first searching online for something to watch.
Nielsen research says, in the first 3 weeks of March this year, there are 400 billion minutes of online content was consumed just in U.S. alone. That's 400 billion. That was 85% increase from last year in those 3 weeks. So I have kids, and I have my wife is also working from home now. We all consume a lot of content, so is everybody else these days. So as users are consuming more content online, it's an opportunity for cyber criminals to trick the users into giving up their personal information, financial information, and many other things. So what we have done is, done a research on what people are consuming content online, and then what are the various websites, that are risky and targeted by these cyber criminals, and we have a top 10 list for both the TV shows and the movies, that are most risky for the consumers.
So when we return, I'm going to get that list from you. We want to hear what movies we're searching for and what TV shows that we're streaming or downloading that are putting us most at risk. We are talking with McAfee about protecting your devices. And speaking of computers, one last plug for my awesome sponsor, ASUS. They make all kinds of laptops. They're divided into 4 families. There's the ZenBooks, the top of the line, very style or design centric, lots of power. Then there's the VivoBooks, which are kind of like everyday laptops, a little bit more affordable, with lots of colors and personality in those. ASUS has Chromebooks for students and anybody else that just needs a basic PC without breaking the bank, that has a few benefits to the Chrome OS. And then finally, ExpertBooks for the business class. All right, we'll be back to chat with McAfee a little bit more when we return. Stay with us. We're chatting with Baker Nanduru, VP of Consumer Product at McAfee. Just before the break, Baker, you told us that there was like a top 10 list of movies and TV shows that were potentially causing the most harm because cyber criminals know you're downloading those, and they surround some viruses and phishing scams around those top titles. So what would they be?
Yeah. I think the way we went about doing this is we looked at the top 10 movie and TV shows that are from the popular publications, and then we have our own methodology where we looked at those things where people are looking for online content, and the top 10 are in case of television, Brooklyn Nine-Nine is the first one, and in case of movies, Warrior is the first one. I think the interesting thing is, the 4 out of the 10 targeted movies were actually children's movies: Incredibles, Aladdin, Lion King, and Frozen 2. And in case of the targeted TV titles, and these are actually the original series produced by the popular streaming websites, so people are looking for the popular original content. And as a father of 2 young girls, I can say, the kids talk to each other and they say, hey, this is the movie I watched. And if they don't have access to this movie, in their favorite subscription, they'll go look online. And, some of these things are pretty risky. And the same thing with the original series.
Yeah, so just to clarify, what you're referring to are these illegitimate sites that let you stream or download a TV show or movie, and that's like not paying for it. So we're not talking about the likes of Netflix or Amazon Prime Video or Hulu or anything like that, right?
No, these are mostly free stuff people search for online without having a good paid subscription from the popular streaming sites.
Okay, so you're then more at risk because you're on these illegitimate websites. We're chatting with Baker Nanduru, VP of Consumer Product at McAfee. We're talking about a recent survey that found that those who search online for something to watch may be putting themselves and their devices at risk because they are on these sites that let you stream or download movies or TV shows illegitimately, and the cyber criminals are they know that this is where you're going, and they're finding ways to infect your devices. So how can cybersecurity help here?
Yeah, I think in this particular case, when you're consuming free online content, I think the basic thing people can do is just don't consume anything illegal online. Just go with the paid one. And probably the second most important thing is, there are a lot of good protection software out there, including McAfee Total Protection. So it's important for you to know what's a good link and a bad link when you click on it, because not every site is equally safe. Some of them are very risky. And I have 2 young kids, as I was telling you before, like they just don't know. They just keep on clicking links. So these things actually help prevent you from clicking on some malicious websites. And the third one is also parental control. So if you have young kids, parental controls help, at least to restrict them from, accessing way too much content or, from different websites. And that definitely helps. And the last one is, cybersecurity software really, really helps, not only in telling you which websites, but also in protecting you. If you ever clicked on a bad website, it will protect you from many malwares, that can be downloaded. So it's simple stuff, but I think it's quite profound on the safety that you'll get.
There are different versions of McAfee that our listeners could download and use or buy at retail perhaps. But you mentioned one called McAfee Total Protection. Is that the one you'd recommend, or is that one of many offerings?
Yeah, McAfee Total Protection is a primary suite for consumers. So if you go to our website, McAfee.com, and click on for home, you will see this, and you can download it, and it's a suite. It has a comprehensive protection. It not only has capabilities where when you're browsing online, it protects you, but also comes in with one of the best-in-class antivirus and many other applications like Password Manager and Safe Family and whatnot, which really helps you protect you and your family members when you stay online.
How much does Total Protection cost?
I think it's around $30 to $40, and depending on the promotions we have at the time, and it's a 1-year subscription.
Okay, got it. And then finally, is that just for Windows PCs, or is it also for Macs? Is it also for iPhone, Android phones and tablets, smart TVs?
Yes. It's for Windows, Macs, Android, and not for TVs, but most of the other devices we have.
Okay. All right. And then it's McAfee.com, which is MCAFEE.com to learn more. Is that right, Baker?
That's correct.
All right. Thanks so much for your time. I hope you have a good and safe summer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
And thank you for tuning in to Tech It Out, powered by ASUS. Have a fun and safe 4th of July long weekend. And I look forward to talking with you next weekend on Tech It Out. Bye-bye for now.